What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to another session of Sports Talk 49 Live and always exclusively right here. I'm here with always Mr. Caleb Benenoch and the hometown celebrity himself.
Don't you call me a lab? Ain't no lab.
No, you the celebrity, man.
No. Look, I'm international.
Oh, excuse me, the international man of mystery. Stylez G. White always gonna give his 2 cents on all the topics we want to talk about today. And we'll just jump right into it since we've already been warmed up for a while. So first things first, what do you want to go into? That Chiefs versus Bengals stories. What y'all got on that?
Stylez, you want to hit this off?
Yeah, because once you go, I ain't gonna have much to say because you're gonna cover everything. So let me go ahead and get a little bit out. The Chiefs this weekend, right? I like it. I'm going for the Bengals. I'm going for the Bengals, but not because I love Patrick Mahomes. I love Patrick Mahomes. So I don't hate it ain't like it's the Bengals against Dallas where I don't like Dallas. But it's like I want to see Joe Burrow do it because he already did. Well, Patrick already got his. You feel me? Patrick already has his. Yeah, so MVP, 2 Super Bowls, one he won. I mean, you know, I think it's gonna be a good matchup. I do want the Bengals to win, but I don't. You know what? Patrick hurt. The Bengals winning. Go ahead.
Okay, so I'll try and make this brief, right? I love Joe Burrow, right? I was one of the first people I feel like early on in the year, and I said Joe Burrow was the second best quarterback in the NFL. When everybody was trying to say Josh Allen was number 1 and Mahomes was number 2, I was like, no. Joe Burrow, in his short time, has accomplished more than Josh Allen has. Josh Allen's an amazing talent. Joe Burrow has that it factor where he goes and gets the job done. He does everything done. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. If you listen to the show at all, you know that I'm a fan of Patrick Mahomes. And I love him. And I think that he is – I think that when it's all said and done, Patrick Mahomes will be the best quarterback we've ever seen. I think he does the most. He has the highest passer rating. In the last 5 years, right, the story right now is can Joe Burrow pass Patrick Mahomes with a win on Sunday, right? Because he would have beat him 4 straight times and twice to go to the Super Bowl, right? So the story is can Joe Burrow pass it? So I want to remind some people about Patrick Mahomes' statistics before people get too carried away. Patrick Mahomes, in 5 years of starting, has been to 5 straight AFC Championship games, and he's hosted every single one of them. He has the all-time record for quarterback rating and passer rating in NFL history currently. He is the highest win percentage in NFL history for a quarterback. He is the highest win percentage when down by double digits in NFL history. He's going to win his second MVP this year in 5 years as a starter. If he wins this Sunday, he'll go to his 3rd Super Bowl in 5 years. He's a Super Bowl MVP. So all these quarterbacks you want to compare him to, they're not even close to his level. If Joe Burrow wins, will the conversation get closer for Joe Burrow and Patrick Mahomes and who's the best? It might inch him a little closer, but if Joe Burrow goes and loses another Super Bowl, all that's going to mean is Joe Burrow has lost 2 Super Bowls. All that's mean. And so I think this game, even though Joe Burrow can get a lot from winning this game, if he doesn't finish the deal off, I think it hurts him more than if Patrick Mahomes loses this game on one ankle. And if Pat Mahomes wins this game on one ankle, on a bum ankle, you're not going to want to hear from me because I'm going to be sitting here being like, where y'all at now? Who are you going to say is better now? Right? Because everybody wants this new shiny toy. We get bored of greatness, right? People get bored of LeBron, and it's always, oh, this guy's better than LeBron. That guy's better than LeBron. This guy's better than LeBron. When all LeBron does is give you 25, 8, and 8, 25, 8, and 9 every single year. Every single year, right? And you get bored of greatness, and you want to find that new shiny toy, and I feel like that's what the NFL is doing right now because he's so young and he's so dynamic. They want to find that new shiny toy.
First of all, Joe Burrow is not a Patrick Mahomes, so no one's arguing who's better. By the way, when Patrick Mahomes is mobile, he's like 90-something% completion. Right. When he's hurt, it's like 60-something%. Just wanted to throw that out there because I know a little bit. But anyways, so you gotta throw that on top of that. And again, it's not it's not that we're bored with greatness, right? Like I understand Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, and I wouldn't cast him as a like, oh, well, if Joe Burrow beats him, he's way better than Patrick Mahomes. Nah, that's not even that's not true. But at the end of the day, this is Joe Burrow's third year in the league.
Mm-hmm.
His first year, he got hurt.
Yep.
Remember that? So I ain't even counting that. So technically 2 years in the league. So his first year, he goes to the Super Bowl and lose. The second year, he makes it to the AFC Championship, and right now may win or lose. In his second year, Patrick Mahomes had 2 years of chilling before he decided to step on the scene. Was it what 1 year? Was it one or two?
His first year, he didn't start.
What?
Right. Okay. He played garbage time at the end of the season. His second year, he went to the AFC Championship game and lost to Tom Brady. His third year, he won a Super Bowl and won an MVP and broke NFL records. So
I thought Patrick Mahomes in league longer than Joe Burrow.
He is.
Yeah, he is 6 years.
Like 2 years, right?
1 year removed, 1 year out.
Oh, is he 1 year? Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, that being said, let's not talk about the fact that if you want to, we still comparing. What is the top wide receiver name that Patrick Mahomes played with that got him there? And what was in Joe Burrow? Right. How many tight ends does I'm just saying, like at the end of the day, you're like, well, you had Tyreek Hill, you had Travis Kelce, the Hall of Famer, right? Joe Burrow he just got Jamar Chase.
Whoa,
right?
Stop it. So we just stop to win this battle right here because I got
I just said to you, like at the end of the day, Patrick Mahomes is a talent, hands down. The spin he did against your Tampa Bay Buccaneers and threw the ball in the end zone, that was incredible. Like there's no comparison when it comes to the talent that they have. I get it. I'm just saying that it seems. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Joe Burrow has one more talent on his roster at skill position than Patrick Mahomes has. This is a fact. Go through his roster.
Currently, I would agree. Currently, I would agree.
But currently, you said last year. You know what the funny thing is? Last year with Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes' stats got better after Tyreek Hill left than when Tyreek Hill was there. So after you said that he's Tyreek Hill dependent, he can't win without Tyreek Hill. All he did is go win that.
I don't recall saying that, sir. I don't recall saying that he's not better with or without him. I was just telling you that he has vast weapons. He has a guru, Andy Reid.
Yeah,
Andy Reid.
He's a legend.
Andy Reid. And then what's the offensive coordinator name that needs to get a head coaching job?
Oh, Eric Bieniemy.
Bieniemy. No, I disagree because Bieniemy doesn't call plays. You can't tell me.
I thought he does.
Call plays. No, he does not. Andy Reid does. That's Andy Reid's offense. Andy Reid's call plays. But let's talk about Joe Burrow's team right now.
Name his quarterback. I mean, name his head coach.
I don't even know his head coach's name.
Right. See what I'm saying?
Does that matter? I know his defensive coordinator's name because his defense coordinator is up for all the jobs right now. He's one of the best in the league. Right? Yeah,
but what's his head coach name? You didn't even give his head coach credit.
No, you talking about Zach Taylor?
I told you I didn't know.
Yeah. No, which is fair. But you know, Andy Reid, you know, Eric Ben mending me, whatever I say his name. I'm just telling you at the end of the day that if we're arguing pound for pound, who's the better pure quarterback, might be Joe Burrow. The best quarterback in that position. I can say, okay, let me explain this. Here's my argument. Can you?
I will give you, but before you go, I want you to hear his weapons. Jamar Chase might be the best receiver in the NFL.
He's one of the best.
That's arguable.
He's not better than. You think he's better than Tyreek Hill? You think he's better than Levante David? Boy from the Raiders.
Adams.
Yes.
You think he's better than Adams?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Well, I do. You were drinking something earlier, so I don't think it was liquor.
No, I do. Okay. Look though. So Tyler Boyd, Higgins, they have a really, really good tight end, and they have a great running game. Like he is stacked all across the board. Go check his numbers. Check the numbers for those receivers out there.
I will. His receivers are decent. He got like 2 number 1 receivers. I give him that, but they're not Hall of Famers. All right, but let me ask you a question. You have hear me out. You have Tom Brady,
I'm
right?
here.
He has like 6 Super Bowls, right? The six Super Bowls, seven Super Bowls, been to the Super Bowl 10 times, right? Good quarterback, right? Aaron Rodgers. Pound for pound, who's the better quarterback?
Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback.
Right, that's what I'm telling you.
Tom
Brady has all the hardware that says that he's the better quarterback, but we all know he's not. Aaron Rodgers got 1 Super Bowl and been to 1 Super Bowl. I think he's been to 1 Super Bowl. That's it. So what I'm saying to you is that pure like that quarterback is Joe Burrow. But Patrick Mahomes is the man at quarterback. Don't get me wrong.
Okay, I'll ask you this: what makes you say Aaron Rodgers is the better quarterback than Tom Brady? The way he throws the ball, his 4 MVPs. Okay, I'm telling you, there's nothing that Joe Burrow does at that position better than Patrick Mahomes. That is my belief, and that's what all the hardware and all the statistics say. Because Aaron Rodgers has stats to say I'm better than Tom Brady, but when they get to the playoffs, same way Peyton Manning did. Peyton Manning has stats to say I'm better than Tom Brady, but when they got to playoffs, it doesn't matter if they win and Tom Brady throws 1 touchdown, he finds a way to win the game, right? That's why we say he's the GOAT. I'm telling you, Patrick Mahomes has every hardware, and so until you want to say this guy is better than me, you need to get some hardware to back this up.
I didn't say he was better. I'm just telling you that he's 0-3. He's 0-3 against the Bengals, against Joe Burrow. That's what he is. That's facts.
And Joe Burrow is 0-1 against Super Bowl teams.
0-1.
He has no ring. He has no ring.
Oh, you mean go to Super Bowl?
0 wins.
Okay. Fair enough.
He has no
let's go to the next subject. Okay, I won that one next. I'm just playing.
I got the Bengals.
Okay. No, you got the Bengals.
I mean, the next topic is still on quarterbacks. We're just talking about QB's movement this offseason.
Yeah. And what do you want to know about that?
I said you're talking about. You got Rodgers possibly asking for a trade. Tom Brady, Dak Prescott, Jimmy.
Aaron Rodgers asked for a trade. I didn't even know that.
Yeah. I keep up. Trey Lance, Derek Carr.
I think this is going to be one of the craziest. So I think it's going to be one of the craziest years as far as quarterback movement. We've seen Russell Wilson move. We've seen Tom Brady move a few years ago, which was like groundbreaking. I think this is going to be one of those off seasons, right? Like Russell Wilson struggled. Derek Carr, we know they're probably going to move off there and try and find a quarterback. Tua Tagovailoa, there was Tom Brady was spotted finding homes in Miami and things like school for his kids, private school for his kids. Yeah, they do. And so he's trying to find a house.
What kid? What happened?
They had a video of Tom Brady. Somebody recorded him in the school looking for private schools for his kid, and then everybody's saying that's where he's going. But it's
where in Miami?
Yeah, Giselle lives there.
In Miami. Yeah, Giselle lives there. And it's okay.
Gisele's in Costa Rica. She's in Costa Rica with her trainer on a horse.
Yeah,
that's where she was at. So that's why he had to go.
So,
you know what I think the most interesting move would be? Well, the most I'm looking to see Brock Purdy in San Francisco.
That's gonna be interesting.
That one I feel like is going to be a good one to see because you can't keep Brock Purdy and Trey Lance.
Nope.
And then I don't even know what Jimmy G going. That's a whole nother animal. But if by chance Brock Purdy goes to the Super Bowl, and if he wins it, that's a whole nother animal.
Oh, man.
There's no way you could go back to Trey Lance.
Nope.
There's no way. There's no way you go back to Trey Lance. You can't name any scenario. Even if they go to the Super Bowl, I still don't think that they can't. Like if he goes, like if he has a chance, like they went to the AFC Championship, you'll say, boom. Well, how many games did Trey Lance have? How many games under the belt he has?
Not many.
I
think he has 7 games in.
Right, and what's his name already got 10 games on him?
Yeah,
4 games on him. I don't see. That one's going to be. I can't wait to see how that one's going to play out. If that man even goes to the Super Bowl. If he lose this weekend, which is understandable because they play the Eagles, but if he makes it good, like if he makes it like it's a good game, I can't see how This is I want to see that one back. Derek Carr, I get. They wanted to cut Derek Carr. They cut Derek Carr to save us some money. They did some BS bullshit. Say that, buddy, so in case he gets hurt. That's why this business sucks. That's why I'm like, yo, athletes, get your money. Dak Prescott, I mean, he still got 2 guaranteed more years on this contract, so he ain't going nowhere. And that ain't gonna be that big of a deal. Aaron Rodgers could, if he asked for a trade. I mean, I don't know where he's gonna go. Detroit, like the Bears. I don't fucking like. Where's it? Like right now? Who needs an Aaron Rodgers? Like who needs an Aaron Rodgers? Who?
Cowboys.
Tampa?
Cowboys. And Tampa.
But you owe Dak 2 more years guaranteed.
Aaron Rodgers. 2
years of guarantees. And the contracts almost match up exactly. Aaron Rodgers and Dak.
Yeah, but do you get rid of Dak? How do you get rid of Dak? You can't keep Dak.
You trade to the Cowboys.
But you trade Dak to
1-for-1?
The Packers. Yeah, listen, 1-for-1. Maybe I think the Packers, I think the Cowboys might have to give a pickup. Might have to give like a 3rd or 4th rounder. Plus
no, because they already got a backup. They already got their first rounder already there behind.
About the young kid.
Yeah, he already been playing. Once they got hurt, they don't need him, so that won't happen. Listen, you know what I'm saying?
If they believed in him, Aaron wouldn't have signed that last 3-year, $200 million contract he just signed.
Aaron just getting that money. I ain't mad at him.
Because
I don't know, but what I'm saying is, where do they need? Do they need an Aaron Rodgers? Because last I checked, Aaron Rodgers don't do well in the playoffs. No, does Dak. So I feel like that's kind of a lateral move, right? So, but I don't see any NFL team that needs a Aaron Rodgers type of quarterback. I can't tell you what team. Jets, maybe.
Yeah, their quarterback situation's kind of fucked.
Right Jets, now. Maybe. The Giants. I mean, where do you see him at? Like where he could go outside of there?
I'll start with Brock Purdy, right? You talked about Brock Purdy, and you say you don't see how you can take him away from the Niners job and have Trey Lance on that team. I'll give you 2 situations where quarterbacks took their teams to the Super Bowl or their championship game and were gone within a year and a half. Blake Bortles with the Jacksonville Jaguars, back-to-back years. 3 actually. Mark Sanchez went to back-to-back championship games and was gone in the next year and a half. And the best one is probably Nick Foles. Nick Foles went to the Super Bowl and was Super Bowl MVP and won, and he was gone within the next year and a half of the team because he had less talent than other people. And they said, hey, he struck gold this year. Our team was amazing. We had all these pieces. They win a Super Bowl, and what happens? All your players get poached. You know how it goes. All your players get poached. Your best defensive end gets poached. Hold on, wait, give me a second. Let me land. Let me land. Right? Okay. So I think the best way moving forward for them, whether or not they go win a Super Bowl, right? I do think they're going to play in the Super Bowl. The Niners, I think they'd find a way to beat the Eagles. Whether or not they win, I say Brock Purdy stays in there because he's earned the trust. And I got former teammates who played on that team, right? He's earned the trust of that team, and he's earned the right to keep that job. But Trey Lance, you gave up 3 first-round picks, a 3rd and a 4th for him.
Yeah.
You don't just go give them up. You don't just go give that up for nothing, right? So you hang on to Trey Lance, and you tell Trey Lance, hey, man, you're on a contract the same way Jordan Love is. You can demand all you want to. We don't care. It's not NBA. We're not held hostage by your contract. You're held hostage by us. We have 2 more years of you at the minimum, right? So you go out there, you do your job, you improve, and if somebody is in a quarterback crisis and wants to offer us a 2nd-round pick, a 1st-round pick for you, then we trade you away. But we're not going to trade. Right now, they're talking about Trey Lance is worth a 3rd or a 4th-round pick. I'm not giving up 3 first-round picks, a 3rd and a 4th, to move up and get you, then give you away for a 3rd because Brock Purdy's playing well. No, you sit here and be the backup. The same way Jordan Love had to sit there and be the backup. Because if Jordan Love performed well enough to be a starter, they would not have re-signed Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, so we clear, right? You're saying that Jordan Love backs up a Hall of Famer, and you're telling me that's the same as Trey Lance backing up Brock Purdy?
I'm talking about performance.
Me too. Me too. Like if you're like, it's one thing Jordan Love got to sit. Listen, it's one thing. It's one thing that Jordan Love had to sit behind a Hall of Famer, right? It's a Hall of Famer. Like he like right here.
We know that.
Brock Purdy is not right here. Aaron Rodgers is here. Brock Purdy is right here. Right? So Trey Lance, who's a first-round draft pick against Mr. Irrelevant, and he's like, nah, like I'm gonna sit behind him and play my role because apparently they held him up here. But guess what? If Brock Purdy goes to Super Bowl, if he would go to Super Bowl, I'll find a way to get it rid of Trey Lance. I don't need him. I at this point, I got 10, 11 games out of him, right? And where I be right or wrong, it's unfortunate, but I got to go with the hot hand, right? So I'm trading now for a third or fourth pick. I get what you're saying, business wise,
the draft collateral and all that.
Yeah, right. The business wise, no, he had to sit and wait. But I'm not going to build my future behind Trey Lance at that point.
This is the business, though. You can't separate the business from the game. The business has never been separated. Me and you both found that out based on our careers. Like the business is not separated from the game; they go hand in hand, right? Players who are better than other players who don't get to play because they're paying this guy too much money, and so he has to be on the field. Both seen that, right? So
but you're not if you're an MVP, Super Bowl MVP, you can't sit at a Super Bowl MVP, can you?
The Eagles did it.
Okay, hey, let's. So I want to touch that one. Nick Foles didn't get in until the championship. I think it was the AFC Championship game. He didn't play the whole season.
Yeah,
he just came in for those 2 games. He didn't prove anything. He played at high volume.
It wasn't those 2 games. No, it was no. You're wrong. It wasn't those 2 games because Carson Wentz was on his way to win an MVP of that league, and Carson Wentz gets hurt like week 14 or 15. Nick Foles gets in there and runs the table and wins the Super Bowl. Right?
They were already like 13-3.
They were. That's why he was about to win the MVP, but he got hurt. But he went in there before this. Go look it up, bro. Listen, I checked all these things.
I understand. I understand. I don't doubt. That.
Okay. Again, like I said, I love the debate with you. I don't want to. I know you got to leave. I don't want to take too much time. Let's go.
No, you good. No, we good. No. Listen. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to acquiesce, and no, I don't know how to spell that. And I do know what it means, but I'm going to let y'all go. Yeah, but I get back on. Listen, you leaving in a couple of weeks, right? We got to get up. Sorry, we got to get up. But we'll touch base. I'll let y'all do y'all thing, though. I appreciate y'all.
We appreciate you, sir.
Yeah.
I thought you were longer than that.
Huh?
I said I thought we had more time.
We were talking for a minute off air.
We were.
Because that was a good debate y'all was having right there, especially with that. But I see both sides of what you're talking about. Stylez is more on the hand of he's the hot man right now. Brock Purdy's winning. He's undefeated. Let's just say he hasn't lost a game since he's took under center. That's a fact.
Yep.
Yep.
Ball out of his mind.
I get your point of the San Francisco 49ers as a business and as not looking like a chump, that you gave up all these draft picks to get this guy to move up to pick that guy that sat out a year in college and then got picked up because of COVID and then give him away for pennies. You'd look like a damn fool to do that. So it kind of reminds me of the Eagles situation with Carson Wentz. They did the same exact thing to pick up Carson Wentz. I remember that draft, and they felt they were invested to him, and Carson Wentz kind of shit the bed after he got paid. So it's a tough thing because you're right. Brock Purdy they could believe in Brock Purdy, put all the chips in, slide everything to the table for Brock Purdy. Here comes 2023 season. This guy looks like Mr. Irrelevant because he's irrelevant in a matter of 6 months. He goes from sugar to shit that fast. So it's a gambling game.
And then what do you do? And then you have nothing to fall back on because for the next 3 years, you have no first-round draft picks, right? So now where are you at, right? Look up until the Eagles, what's his name? Jalen Hurts fell into their lap in the second round, right? And then he didn't even look that good his first year. And then all of a sudden he makes this huge growth in year 2. But they also go and trade more first-round draft picks for A.J. Brown and make more moves and get Ndamukong Suh and get the big dude from the Vikings, right? And so they put all these pieces around him, and and they put all these pieces around him, and then he like improves more. But like not having a first round pick for 3 years is detrimental to your squad. If you don't have a Patrick Mahomes, if you don't have one of those guys who is like, hey, this is my guy for 15 years, because again, you can go give up 3 draft picks when you have LeBron James. And you say, okay, LeBron is going to give me 26, 27 points a game for the next 3 years. I don't need a first round draft pick, right? I need to put veterans around him to make him successful. I don't need some kind of superstar or young gun. We'll figure it out with LeBron and role players. But if you don't have that guy and you wasted that pick and you end up trading that away, that's like a whole it can hurt your franchise for the future. Look at how the Rams are right now. When Matthew Stafford couldn't play this year because he was hurt and they lost Odell and they lost Von Miller, all these guys that they were trading all their top picks for, right? Odell's gone. Von Miller was gone. They lose their left tackle. Now they look like a horrible team. And even though they should have a top 10 pick, they don't have a first round pick.
Oh, somebody else got it.
Right? Somebody else is using their pick right now. So it's like that's why the coaches be like, hey man, I'm gonna retire. I did my job. I got a Super Bowl. I'll retire for a year or two, take some time off.
Yeah, you saw McVay talking about that, talking about leaving teams because he don't want to go through that shit that's about to happen.
McVay's talking about that. I'll go retire, take a couple years off. Then like Sean Payton, when the right coaching job comes along, I'll come right back and bring my expertise to them because we went for broke and we won, and that's okay. But if you go for broke and you don't win, then it's really a problem.
That's why I respect Pete Carroll. He took that Seattle organization out of the freaking toilet and took a chance. I remember they signed all that money for Matt Flynn coming out of Green Bay, played those couple of games. Russell Wilson, guy that played at NC State, lost his job to Mike Glennon to go to Wisconsin and come into play. It was a 3rd-round draft pick. It started the best player. I like that. Pete Carroll didn't play the politics. He played the best player, and Russell Wilson was the better player, and he started, and the rest is history. And now they're going through a rebuild. Now you got Geno Smith, who's going to a Pro Bowl. He's rebuilding this new Seattle team. So I always respect that because Pete Carroll has gone through the shit with this team and still building it up. But you see these guys leave when they got to go through that, and they want to come back in when the team's already kind of set up for them to walk in. So I just got mad respect for Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll is in my coaching Mount Rushmore when you talk about coaches, period, right? Because you have your college coach on Rushmore, NFL coach Mount Rushmore. Pete Carroll is one of the few people to win at the highest level, to go to multiple championships on both sides. Right? A lot of college coaches, Jimmy Johnson's another one, right? A lot of college coaches, they come to the NFL and struggle. Nick Saban is the GOAT college football coach, and it's not even a debate at the moment, right? But when he came to the NFL, I think it was 2 times, he failed miserably. And not a knock on him, he just didn't know how to make that transition to handle kids to handling men, right?
Right.
And so Pete Carroll can make that adjustment. And the coolest thing about Pete Carroll, before we go on our next topic, Pete Carroll is older than Bill Belichick. People don't know that. He's a year
old as dirt.
Yeah, they are. But you look at Bill Belichick on the sideline and his demeanor and how he moves around, you would think, yeah, exactly. If you saw Pete Carroll, you wouldn't know Pete Carroll was 74.
He jumps around, throws balls at practice. He does all of that.
Having a great time. He's like that. Football's keeping him fresh and juiced up and alive. And so I got a lot of respect for him. I got respect for what he's done. No, it's awesome. It's awesome. Okay, so this would be our first controversial topic of the day. Not the other one. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Ed Reed. So that was a very, very interesting thing. I went over here and pulled some of this up for that Ed Reed speech. I watched it. I'm not sure if you had a chance to watch it or not.
Seen it?
You did not?
I did see it.
Oh yeah. So it's the audio's off. I just got it playing as we talk about it. I know how you feel about the whole college football game, and so does I. That's as far as I went. I didn't get to play on pro level, so I get where Ed Reed's, coming from this. He's learning the hard way about how politics and sports works, and how when you try to change a narrative and objective, everybody's not going to see the same light as you. And Ed Reed, he's not as articulate and plays the game as well as Deion Sanders, but he's going to have to learn that game. And that's what we talked about a little bit off air. Ed Reed's going to have to, learn how to do that from guys that's doing the same thing and trying to make changes in programs, because I don't think this is the last stop for Ed. I think he'll get another chance somewhere else, if not at Bethune Cookman. I'm sure it'll be somewhere else. Not sure how you feel about it. Go ahead.
So I disagree with one of the points made about that he doesn't understand how to play the politics game.
Mm-hmm.
I disagree with that because from his conversation and things I've heard about Deion Sanders speaking about Ed Reed could have gone to Jackson State.
Yep.
After Deion left.
That would have been nice. That would have been cool.
And Jackson State, Deion already gave them $600,000 of his contract money to build a new stadium. He's got partners with that school now. Did everything. He got that job offer. He got other job offers that he's spoken on, right? And he chose Bethune Cookman because he understood, hey, I want to take this place out of the dumps, right? All he asked for, from what I've heard from him, and from even what the vice president of Bethune Cookman said, is he was like, hey, man, like, all I ask is for the stuff to be clean. I understand our facility is not going to be amazing, this, that, and the other. And he's a very passionate person. Deion Sanders has coached football since his kids were in Little League. And then he had the IMG Academy. And people forget Deion Sanders' IMG Academy failed. Not IMG, but his just Deion Sanders high school thing that he did in Florida, it ended up kind of folding into stuff. It didn't work out, right? So he understood the business aspect and whatever. And so I probably would say that Ed Reed probably has some more growth to do as far as going about saying things, but I don't think he's wrong in what he said, right? I don't think and the reason why I know he's not wrong is because you have kids all over campus saying, hey, man, there's been mold on my walls and my dorm rooms for years now, and my shoes are getting molded, and our water is terrible, and all these things are going on, right? And so he is just being himself and being a passionate player that he is. I don't know if you ever seen that video of him giving a speech at halftime when he was in Miami. This is who Ed Reed is. He's a passionate person, right? And he cares about the kids because he didn't want to leave, because initially they said that he's going to step down. That's what the news that was released. They said Ed Reed's going to step down as coach.
Right. That's what he was suggesting.
I'm not leaving because I want to.
He said, I never said that.
Yeah, they were suggesting. Yeah, he said, I guess I'm not leaving because I want to. I care about y'all. But there's some other people in here who want to hide what's going on here to save their own selves. Because I understand HBCUs might not be as funded as the bigger schools. I get that. But you can't tell me that you had 2 hurricanes and you have to leave trash in coaches' offices and there should be mold in student dorm rooms. That's not livable. These kids are paying to stay in the dorms.
Correct.
There should not be mold there. That's a problem. And so to see the kids come in there and rally around him and be upset that the one person who can bring change to this school was Ed Reed. You can't tell me a better defensive back than Deion Sanders, but you can probably say Ed Reed is right there with him. As far as safeties go, he might be the best to ever do it. Right? I think he is in my book. Right?
No, I'm with you. He could do everything.
Exactly. Somebody who has reach. Hey, maybe you go talk to him. You go say, hey, we want to work with you, but this is the way to approach it. I don't like how they approach the situation. I don't like you firing somebody because he's exposing something that you didn't want out because you had your hands clean, because you're not used to this publicity. Because kids wouldn't have said anything if Ed Reed didn't say anything. But now all of a sudden,
they had the riots now too after that as well.
Yeah.
Well, the protest. Excuse me. I'm not going to say riot, protest.
Yeah, because what he was saying is clearly true. Did he go about it the right way? Could he have done it a better way?
It's just who he is. This is how he talks. That's just who he is.
He's passionate. Like Deion Sanders got his own confidence. He said, I'm coming in here. My bag is Louis. Right? That's how he talked. Ed Reed says, man, it's people here that don't care about you. And I care about you. He says, sorry, I cursed. But y'all know what curse words is. Some of y'all in here are parents. Right? So they got different ways to deliver the message. But one thing I learned about being a pro athlete, one thing I learned about being an athlete is it's not always how the message is delivered. It's can you get the message? Yeah, get what's being said. Because every coach is going to deliver it a different way. Right? But can you get what's being said so you can improve as a player, as a person, as an athlete? And so I stand with him. It's sad how it happened. I know he's going to get another job somewhere else.
Yeah.
Right? But I think that it's something for us to look into as Black people. It's something for us to look into as people of color and be like, hey, man, like the people who run these schools need to be held accountable just as much as everybody else, because you cannot use him as a scapegoat and say he's at fault when you have kids showing videos of their shoes having mold on it when they're paying for dormitories. That's not okay.
Not okay.
That's not okay. Right? It's not okay. It's not okay. And so I think it almost magnifies what Deion did even more with that school, with giving up over half his salary to build new facilities.
And the way they try to bash his name with that, talking about he don't care about the kids. I'm like, you need to shut your ass up because you have clearly no idea what's really going on. Their cars are being broken into. There's stuff, there's sacrifices that he got to make. And this is, and again, we say this every time on air. This is why I like having you guys taking over media, saying what needs to be said, because these suckers that are running media now have been getting away too long of just putting out wrong information to the ignorant. Instead of educating the ignorant correctly, you're doing the opposite. You're keeping them ignorant and you're making them dumb by the stuff that you're telling.
Yeah, I agree. And so I hope everything works out for him. I hope Bethune can get their stuff together, because I remember when Jackson State was going through their stuff with the water issue and Brown, and Deion had all the guys in hotels, and I'm sure he's paying for that with his own money. And the whole time, another thing Deion said that I just remembered, he was putting these guys on game. He goes, "Hey man, you're flying over to UCLA, and you guys are flying over across the country with less talent to go get spanked by these top 5 programs, and you're letting them pay you $300,000, $500,000. He goes, that doesn't even cover your charter flight, your 2 charter flights, and your hotels, right? Stop sending your kids over there for less money. He goes, this is a business. He goes, I'm not flying nowhere to play no Power 5 school unless they pay me over $1 million, because we have to get some profit for our kids to use and to do things around school.
I think he said he's not sacrificing his kids either. I think he said something like that. Yeah.
He's putting everybody on game, and people want to be mad at him because all they see is, oh, Deion primetime. You had it good your whole life. You was a great athlete.
That has nothing to do with what's going on here.
Exactly. They're not looking at him being like, hey, man, like I came here and I made a difference at this school, and it's possible, but you have to be receptive to make this difference. I remember when Deion complained, and he said, hey, man, this grass hasn't been cut in 2 weeks. My players can't play on this high grass. Nope. He drove his own John Deere tractor and cut the fields himself. And he recorded that. But didn't nobody at Jackson State say Deion Sanders needs to be fired because he's making Jackson State look bad? They said, man, we need to do better. Okay, how do we do better, Deion? Right? So I think that's the approach they need to take. And I hope that it works out for them and they do better, because that, like, it was sad for me. It was sad for me. It really was.
It was, and I'm glad the school stood up for Ed. And they protested peacefully outside with that, because it needs to be said, and hopefully other HBCUs follow suit. I hope more DBs and former players do the same thing. Go to their alma maters or go to these other schools and give them a fighting chance, just like everybody else. Of course, they're not going to be like the Power 5 schools, maybe not initially, but at least you can get it up to a respectable level. And I always the utmost respect for anybody trying to make a difference in this world. Because when you try to push, it's going to push back twice as hard, and that makes the fight even harder. So I'm always for anybody trying to make a change in this world.
Yeah, facts. Okay, so
we talked about the Eagles and the Niners. We already with the Chiefs and Bengals, that all kind of rolled into one, the original. We got to have that conversation. Well, we got to have that fun conversation after the games are played. So that's going to be fun. So we're going to the good old controversial one, the Cowboys Twitter. So what do you, as a player, so I guess this will be more on you on this one. As a player, what does your initial thought think? Now put yourself in Dak Prescott's situation. What is your initial thought when you see your team's Twitter, not a ghost Twitter, actual Twitter, post that on there, and it's predominantly pointed right at you?
I'm irate. I'm pissed off. I'm upset. Like, you don't do that to your star players, especially your quarterback, right? I've talked about this on the show. Like, quarterbacks have this persona in the media. Golly gee whiz, like, oh, I'm boy next door and you can have a beer with me and everything's all great and I don't yell, I don't do anything like that. Baloney. Quarterbacks have the biggest egos. They need the best kind of handlers, which is why every quarterback coach combination doesn't work, which is why you see some quarterback coach combinations flourish and others don't, right? Because these guys have been the best at what they've done for their whole lives. And when you're the starting quarterback in the NFL, especially if you're on a good team, you get praise heaped on you. You don't want negativity. So for the Cowboys to lose and literally tweet and say, Dak, you could have said, hey, we turned the ball over. Such and such time. We did this and what was a lot. But to say Dak Prescott messed up and gave the ball away and basically Dak lost the game for us, to have that conversation, to say that publicly is insane to me. You don't do this. First of all, you don't do that to any player. Like, there's this thing that goes on, right? And everybody who's listening, everybody who sees these videos, go check all your favorite sports broadcasts and sports places. There are certain players, when there's a loss that happens, who they post. It's never the star. Right? There's always a narrative, right? And you protect the people that you love. Every sports broadcasting, every media place does this. I don't care if it's European soccer, MLS, I don't care if it's football, basketball. There's somebody who you don't want to scapegoat and somebody who you want to protect. So when you see the team lose, they post certain pictures, right? Tom Brady's not getting posted when the Bucs lose a game. Don't post somebody's picture on there because you don't want to associate Tom Brady with losing. We're visual people. We're visual creatures. You know, like if, I don't know, the Lakers lose, they're not going to have LeBron on the front page of the Lakers profile picture, right? Right? But if, you know, Skip Bayless might want to post LeBron James because he wants it to be associated with LeBron James for the loss. And that's kind of how it goes. And everybody understands the hierarchy in the locker room, in the system. So as a former player, to see them go out, right, and just do that, it just shows me, like, the fray that's happening within the organization and the player, because everything has to be greenlit. Like, you don't, like, nobody, especially in that organization, I've been in that organization, nothing's happening without Jerry Jones say so. So you don't just get to tweet what you want to and say what you want to, because now, there you go, right? The Cowboys said that. And so to put this out, you're not just sending a message to the public, you're sending a message to your quarterback. And I think it's a problem. I think it's a problem for the mission moving forward. We've talked about Lamar Jackson on here and all the things that have happened with them. And if you notice the last 2-3 weeks, they've been doing supreme damage control, right? Trying to be like, we want Lamar. Because, again, they saw what it's like when he's not there, right?
You saw.
I tell people all the time, again, me and Donovan are the friends, and I cape for him on here all the time because I think he's a really, really good player. He didn't have his best season of his career this year. Obviously, that's clear.
You know what, Caleb? We need to bring Donovan on here and speak for himself, because there's a lot of people talking for him, but he never really talks himself. I would love to hear him say what he wants to say.
That's not his personality. And also, when I was playing football, I would never have done this. Right? But now that, like, I'm not, like, again, I start looking in and I see certain things happening. And I feel obligated to go speak on behalf of not just my friends, but players in general. Right. And I have no problem with people being called out for poor performance. That's not a problem.
There's levels of this.
Yeah, if somebody plays bad, dude, like, that's what we signed up for. I'm a public figure. I get paid to go do this. Like, so there's no problem with you saying, like, hey, man, you had a bad game today. I have no problem with that. Where I start drawing the line with the berating and things like that is when a player puts a picture of their daughter and you're like, well, I'm surprised they didn't call a penalty on that play. And, like, you're saying things like that about people's kids, and that's kind of where I draw the line. But as far as criticism goes, dude, that is way warranted. If I go to a restaurant, well, not me personally, because I don't do Yelp reviews, but people go to restaurants, the food is bad, you write a bad Yelp review. You want to have a restaurant. So that's kind of what goes with it. I think football is the same way. I just think there's a respectable way to do everything. Right. And the way where you're not attacking somebody as a person, you're talking about play and things like that of that nature. But I think this was tacky by the Cowboys. Whoever doing the social media, I know somebody, they're going to be out of there. Somebody cleared that to happen. Somebody cleared that to be posted. The unfortunate part is whoever posted it is going to lose their job.
not the one that says, looks good, buddy.
Yeah. The person that said looks good is going to be okay. But the person who posted it is going to lose their job, and it's unfortunate because even if you remember earlier this season when when Tyreek Hill first got to the Dolphins. Tua, there was a play in OTAs where Tua threw a deep ball and Tyreek Hill had to stop and catch
it was a severe underthrown ball. Correct.
Severe underthrown ball. Mm-hmm. And then they were like, we can't wait for this combination. And then they got blown up like, wow, Tua can't even throw a deep ball to Tyreek Hill. That person got fired. And they announced like, oh, we fired that person, whatever. But somebody cleared that to be posted. They did.
Unless he doesn't have a supervisor. But normally you're right. In the world of editing and things like that and verbiage that goes out, somebody has to proofread it.
But we're talking about $1 billion company. You're not posting anything on there without knowing it first. Right. I've been done like a Bucks takeover in camp, like, oh, Caleb Benenoch's doing. You save all those videos and you talk about it, and then the person who's posting it proofreads it, watches the video, and is like, okay, this is cool to say. You didn't say anything cursing or whatever it is, or like, oh, do you want to do a second take and make sure it's okay? Like, that's what happens in those things. You're not just posting things in real time. It doesn't happen because this is a $1 billion industry. This isn't your public or private, your Instagram story. Like, they're not doing that stuff without getting checked first. So somebody checked it and said, cool. Then you get backlash, and it's like, oh, sorry, man, you're out of a job, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if they find a new person because that's not okay. And I think the NFL community, as far as players, all reacted the same way from what I've seen, that is like, hey, man, like, this isn't cool, right? Like, we do things as a team. We win as a team. We lose as a team. If you watch that game, of course Dak Prescott struggled. Yeah, he did. He didn't play a great game. And I have my ideas of why he struggled, right? I don't think Dak Prescott's a bad quarterback. I don't think he is. I think same way Russell Wilson, people went away from doing what he does really, really well, moving outside the pocket, having a threat of run, RPOs, rolling out, moving the pocket, doing certain things like that. They don't do that anymore. They want him to drop back and sit in the pocket and sling it. And everybody isn't that. That's what makes the NFL so great because for a long time, everybody wanted to find a Tom Brady and a Peyton Manning. And that's all you want to look for. But then you found
kind of like the marquee quarterback look.
And then you find out there's plenty of other ways to win games.
Yep.
Right? There's plenty of other ways to win games and get things done. Right? And so I think you should play to people's strengths. Hand the ball off to Pollard more. He got injured, right? But get Dak rolling out to Prescott. Hand the ball off to Zeke. I don't care if Zeke's getting 3 yards to carry. Give it to him 20 times.
Doing it.
Yeah, he'll break one of them. He's gotten less and less carries. People want to say he's lost a step, right? And he might have, but he's getting less and less carries since year 4. You know, if you want to say, okay, between him and Pollard, we'll give you guys 35 carries. We'll throw 28 times, 30 times. Dak doesn't need to throw 40 sometimes. That's not good for anybody, especially not just straight from the pocket. So I think there's a lot of blame to go around. But to put him on Front Street like that, I don't like it. I don't think it's good, especially for a star. Like, that's like your star quarterback. So I think that kind of breaks up relationships because, again, like, I want people to understand the hierarchy of the NFL. Kind of like the hierarchy of the NBA. You got your owners up here. Where's my camera? Yep, you got the owners up here. You got your head coach, right? The owners, which is like all the partners and everything like that. The GM and the head coach are like right here. Your quarterback is probably right here. And then the rest of the team is like here, right? And then you have your NBA, same thing, owners, GM, head coach. And then you got probably your star player. Honestly, in the NBA, your star player is probably ahead of the head coach. Maybe not the GM, but the head coach.
Right.
You got a star player, and then you got the rest of the team. Like, it's like they're in a different, you know, like Dak Prescott can walk to Jerry Jones' office and talk to him. Tom Brady can walk to Jason Light or the Glazers and all these people's places and talk to them. Regular players don't get that kind of access. So you treat them differently. And they've earned the right to be treated differently because they are the star player. You're getting paid $50 million a year for a reason, right? Like, that's not on accident. Dak Prescott's making $40-something million a year. It's not on accident, right? He's a star. And so to go put that kind of blame on man on the front in public, I didn't like it at all. I didn't.
Nope, I think we were all in. I don't think you're going to get much argument out of me out of that one because I think it was wrong too. And whatever. Like I said, I'm sure that person is not working there no longer. And I'm sure that I know they're frustrated. Dallas getting put out of the playoffs again. And Stephen A. Smith riding them. But You can't do that type of stuff. There's levels of this to criticize people, and that's not one of them.
Yeah. I want to talk about one more thing before we get off. So, Josh Allen versus Stephon Diggs on-field issues.
Oh, the argument on the sideline.
Yeah, it's been a big topic this week, right? So, I was briefly with those two guys, played with them. Very briefly before I went to the Saints for a few weeks. When I saw it, I didn't think it was a big deal. I've seen Josh Allen work. I know how talented he is. I understand Stephon Diggs as well. The work he puts in. Stephon Diggs has been arguably a top 3, top 5,
easily, consistently
receiver in the NFL since he got to the NFL, right? He had one down year where he had like 900-something yards, and he won it out of
Minnesota.
Yeah, he won it out of Minnesota, right? And so he has been consistently a top receiver in the NFL. Sometimes heated arguments happen on the field, especially in a game of that magnitude at home, being kind of ballyhooed the way they did the whole season, the way they were propped up on this pedestal. The Bills are the best team in the NFL. It's here for a Super Bowl, all these things like that. So to have all that pressure on you to kind of play as bad as they did and only score 10 points, right? I've gotten into arguments with Jameis, right? Jensen has gotten into big arguments with Jameis on the sideline.
Yeah.
Tom Brady has went and cussed out offensive linemen on the sideline. Like, all these things happen. It happens. I just don't like when we do this thing as media, especially where we go and say, well, when one player goes and yells at his teammates, it's for motivation. But when another player does it, he's trying to show his teammates up, and he's a cancer, right? He cares. Would you rather have Stephon Diggs on the sideline laughing and kikiing while they're down 16 points in the fourth quarter? Would you rather have him being like, well, I don't care, or be like AB and take his pads off and walk inside the locker room and be like, we lost it? Would you rather that? Or would you rather somebody who was, hey, me and this dude, if you look at their Instagram posts or their Twitter posts, all these people do, all Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen do is talk about how much they love each other. All they do is go back and forth, and they have their special handshakes. They communicate 24/7. They hang out. Like, they have like their bromance is documented. And I don't mean that in a bad or a negative way. I mean that in a good thing, like great working relationship. And so when you see him go there and be like, hey, man, like, we are not playing up to our standard. I didn't take that as him saying like, oh, Josh, you suck today.
Yeah, he didn't do like Dallas's Twitter.
Yeah, exactly. Earlier in the game, there was a play where Josh Allen was under pressure. He threw a ball, and Stephon had to fall down and catch the ball. And he looks at Josh and goes, hey, like, bring the ball up so I can catch it and try and make a play, right? Like, they want to be perfect. They know how dynamic they are together. They know Josh Allen changed Stephon Diggs' life. Stephon Diggs changed Josh Allen's life. And so for the media to go and spin it as this thing is Stephon Diggs is somehow a cancer and he wants out of Buffalo when his best game.
Somebody's selling the narrative. Yeah.
Exactly. That's why, like, again, this is not me being mad at Stephon Diggs' side. I've seen these past conversations happen. I've had them with my quarterback. I've seen other people have them with other teammates. And you get over it and you move on. We're men. Testosterone filled. We're passionate about this. We care. I've seen teammates almost fight in the locker room after a bad loss. Like, I've seen all these things happen. And what happens? We all move on past it and we play and everything's fine. But, like, we all care about this game. And so to sell this narrative that, like, Stephon Diggs is some kind of cancer and he wants out of Buffalo because he raised his hand up twice at Josh Allen, the first time we've ever seen that in their, 4 years together, it's crazy to me. And it's disrespectful. And I think it's unsincere. And I think we have to do better. When you have this platform, you need to do better, and you need to tell things how they are and not try and form narratives that fit what you want to cause drama because you're messing with people's lives.
Yep.
Like, these are people still, right? Because somebody's going to think like, oh, man, like, did you say something about this? Did you say something about that? Like, these are people's lives you're messing with, right? And so go call it like it is. If one person does something, keep the same energy, right? But they have a great working relationship, and I don't think it was that big of a deal. I think it was a passionate game. It was an emotional game. They weren't playing like they thought they could play or how they thought they should play, right? They were disappointed, and you're not showing anybody up. right? They work together really, really well. Don't tell me Tom is motivating his offensive line when he's telling them they suck and they can do better, right? And he's yelling at them in the face. Don't tell me that's passion, and then tell me Stephon Diggs is cancer, right? Don't tell me that's they don't tell me that, right? Either they're both cancers, right? Don't tell me T.O.'s a cancer when he's yelling that he wants the ball,
trying to win,
right? Don't tell me those things are different. Don't tell me that, right? So either you keep the same energy for everybody, because we're all passionate and we're all men in here, and sometimes emotions get high. This game means a lot to us. We put too much time in. Everybody puts too much time in to go out sad, to go out 21-10. That's painful.
Too much work.
Too much work to go out 21-10. It's painful. Emotions are going to get high. But don't say I want out of Buffalo now because I did this 2 times. Like, no, I don't like that. I don't like the insincerity. But I know they're trying to sell a show, but I think it's insincere on their part because they pick and choose when they put this narrative for certain players, and I don't like it at all. But what are your thoughts?
No, I agree wholeheartedly, and it's why I've made good friends with you guys. I constantly have you guys on my shows from all over the league. That it's good to have somebody in media, although I may not be the big 4-letter network, but it's good to have somebody out there trying to do things the right way and change the narratives of things, because the way media is done, players, people, humans, I'll just say humans, it's just been wrong. Just trying to sell out anybody, anyway, anyhow, to get ratings and change something and make it what it's not. I said athletes, they're alpha males. Most of them are alpha males, and you put in a lot of work. You dedicate your body, your time, missing your kids' games and things like that to play this game, and then to have it fall short because you have your buddies not, your teammates not playing to the level that they want to play. Yeah, I'm angry at them, but I don't hate them. I may be only mad at them for that moment, but I still love them. That's not changed. And it's the way the media tries to spin it like he's going to one out Buffalo now and all this stuff. And it's just to sell tickets, just to sell clicks and likes, and it gets old. And I'm just so happy to see you guys speak out on it, because the shit's getting played out. It's getting played out bad. And I'm interested to see what happens next in the offseason with those guys, because I'm sure Buffalo's media is probably running that to the ground with all that going on. But it's nothing. If you played the game, you know exactly what that is. If you know exactly what that is, I've done it. I've had it done to me by players and coaches. That's the way it is. I say, you're not playing at the level, because your season ends after this game. Everything's done. You did not reach your goal. It's frustrating as hell. And these guys want to win. They put all this money, spent all this money for these guys to get past this marker to make it and win a Super Bowl, and for it to have short because your top guy's not playing to the par he should be playing. Yeah, you're frustrated, but you move on.
So, okay, before we go, I want to say one more thing, because I forgot when me and Stylez got into our debate back and forth. I think one thing we're seeing with these quarterbacks, right, is we have been blessed, right? The NFL has been blessed, like the same way the NBA has been blessed. The NBA went from MJ, then they had, who was it? Shaq for some years, Kobe. And then Kobe. Then you went straight to LeBron, and you always had that guy carrying the torch of greatness, right? And so everyone and then you had Steph Curry right in between, the KD in between, right? And so you always have this guy carrying this torch of greatness that everyone has to meet this bar to.
Yeah.
So people like Charles Barkley fall by the wayside. People like Dame Lillard, as great as he is, fall by the wayside. Like Dwight Howard fall by the wayside. James Harden falls by the wayside. Those are all-time phenomenal players, right? But because they're next to these greatness, these guys who carry this torch and they win 4 or 5 championships. Everybody else is like, well, I didn't get that. So it's like, oh, you're not as great. I think the same thing's happening in the NFL right now. And Josh Allen's getting a lot of flack because, again, like I said, we went from Tom Brady, right, And even though Tom Brady won a Super Bowl, what was it, 2 years ago, right?
Yes.
Obviously, he's not in his prime anymore, right? We see him dwindling. Aaron Rodgers won 4 MVPs. People always want to compare Aaron Rodgers to only 2 people you can compare him to are Montana and Brady. Patrick Mahomes, after 5 years as a starter, is already in that rare air where it's like, hey, I am about to win my second MVP. I'm already at Rodgers level. If I win another Super Bowl, I'm getting to Montana and Brady level. I'm going to start creeping up in that sense, right? And so we have guys like Justin Herbert, and we have guys like Josh Allen, right? And Joe Burrow at the moment, unless he can find a way to win one this year, and then he's going to be in that kind of conversation as well. But we have guys like, Trevor Lawrence who are coming up, and Jalen Hurts, and we want to push these guys up so fast and call them one of these MVP great guys. But the problem is, the higher you push these guys up, the higher you set the expectations from them, the further they're going to fall, because those guys are rare. But I think because these leagues get these guys who come in and carry the torch and are willing to take that torch and go do what they have to do and can carry on that greatness, I think we kind of get numb to the greatness and we kind of get bored with it and think is what everybody should do. Phillip Rivers in any generation is an all-time quarterback. Hall of Fame quarterback. Any generation. He's amazingly talented. He carried that San Diego team for years. But okay, well, while he was in there, what happened? He had 2 Manning brothers winning Super Bowls, and then Tom Brady winning the other Super Bowls for his whole career.
Career.
Is it fair? It's
Big
not
Ben
fair,
too.
Big Ben too. If those guys aren't there, he probably wins one. It doesn't mean he's bad. So you have a guy like Josh Allen.
At the short end of the stick.
Short end of the stick. We know Patrick is one. Patrick's going to keep going to those. We know Joe Burrow is on the cusp of being one of those guys going to keep going to those, right? And so it's like one of those things where it's like, hey, man, you can appreciate somebody's talent, but everybody isn't LeBron. Everybody isn't Jordan. Everybody isn't Peyton.
Nope.
Everybody sure isn't Tom, right? Everybody isn't Montana, right? Like people want to minimize Aaron Rodgers' greatness because he only won 1 Super Bowl. I'm just like, dude, stop comparing him to anybody else. Appreciate what he does, because as far as talent goes, Mahomes might be the only quarterback to ever live in the NFL who has more arm talent and ability than Aaron Rodgers, right? But Tom had the perfect storm. He had the perfect storm of coach, defense, Gronk, the second best tight end to ever live in the NFL, right? And he had the perfect storm, and they won a bunch of championships. Montana had Jerry Rice. He had great teams at the time. Perfect storm, win 4 championships. Patrick Mahomes, what it seems like so far is that he has a perfect storm, and he can win a few, right? Aaron Rodgers has had 1 top 10 defense in his career, and he won a Super Bowl that year.
Right.
That's it, right? But what has he done? He's shown 4 times more than I think any other quarterback who's tied for the most. He has 4 MVPs, right? That's something to hang your hat on. And he's a Super Bowl. Dan Marino doesn't, right? So I'm saying, like, appreciate guys for what they are and for what they bring, and stop thinking everybody needs to win 6 rings. It's not going to happen.
Robert Ory said that best. Robert Ory.
If you get 1, you're lucky if you get 1. So we can't just sit here and just be like, oh, well, he's not a great player. He only won 1 Super Bowl. I'm like, dude, that's a blessing. I went to the playoffs twice in my career. 7 years, I went twice. I cried my first time I went to the playoffs. I wasn't even starting at the time. I cried because it's so hard to even get there. So to go win a Super Bowl, to go to the playoffs every single year, it should be commended. It should be appreciated. And stop stop saying this is the next Brady. This is the next Rodgers. This is the next until they prove that I can be talked about in that conversation, until these guys prove that I can be talked about like the rest of these people. Stop saying everybody's the next this and the next that. You have a kid who hasn't thrown a snap yet. Oh, his comp is Joe Montana. I'm like, what are you talking about? Joe Montana won 4.
Talking about?
He's 4-0 Super Bowls. What are you talking about right now? Why are you going to do that to this guy? Like, let people develop and let them show you who they are before you start making these comps and, like, before you start jumping to these conclusions, which is why I say that disrespect is so crazy, because people want to jump in and say, like, oh, well, if he wins, he's better than Patrick Mahomes. Dude has 2 MVPs, which is going to have the second one this year. I listed off his stats before, right? When you call somebody, oh, he's the next Brady. Like, it's like, dude, Brady won 7 rings, bro. It's like, what are we, like, come on, like, let's chill.
Their stories are even the same. Brady was a 6th-round draft pick. They're not the next nobody. You're like Tom Brady says, you're the next you.
It takes a lot to get to that conversation, right? There's so much we have to see before you can get there. 2 seasons doesn't get you into that conversation.
No.
So let's just pump the brakes. Let's enjoy people for who they are. Stop making all these wild comparisons, right? Because everybody wanted to call Michael Parsons the best defensive player to ever play the game. LT, Lawrence Taylor. Everybody was calling Michael Parsons Lawrence Taylor before the season started. Yeah. I'm like, can he get to Aaron Donald status first?
Yeah, he ain't even reached it.
Yeah, because Aaron Donald has played, I think this is year 10 or 11. Aaron Donald has 8 All-Pros and like 10 Pro Bowls. 8 first-team All-Pros. Can you get there first before you start talking about Lawrence Taylor? But they're like, no, he's Lawrence Taylor. I'm just like, dude, like, just pump your brakes. I know he's talented. He's special.
Crowning him early.
Yeah, he's a great talent, man. He's special. But, hey, there's a lot of steps to get to these all-time greats. There are so many steps to get to the all-time greats. So I want people just to take some deep breaths, right? Appreciate these guys that you're seeing do great things. Appreciate Josh Allen. Appreciate Justin Herbert. Appreciate Trevor Lawrence. Appreciate Joe Burrow. Appreciate Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, all these young quarterbacks. The NFL is in good hands. We're going to see a lot of fun football in the next 10, 15 years. And let's watch these guys develop before we start saying, it's like week to week, who the best player is changes. That's not how football works. It's not. Build a career, build some accolades, build a name for yourself.
Then we'll have a conversation.
10, 15 years in, right? Like, imagine if we were saying every year, who's better, Peyton Manning or Tom Brady? Oh, my God, who's better? Well, Peyton Manning got the in-season awards. Tom Brady got the postseason awards.
Yep.
Who's better? Next year, Peyton was just like, dude, hey, let's just breathe. Let's see the careers come to an end, right? And let's see, you know what I'm saying, where they stack up. And so everybody just take a deep breath. Let's watch these games. Let's enjoy these great games that we're seeing. Let's enjoy these young people, these young men carrying our favorite sports from basketball to football. You know, let's enjoy it and stop trying to crown people before they get there. That's my little soapbox speech.
And that was well worth it. And I appreciate you, sir, as I always do. And I can't wait to have this conversation again after these games this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll wrap this up as we always do. You're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. I'm Blake Anthony. This is the great Caleb Benenoch. We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.